So Guided by Voices puts out Propeller, their big send-off record, and they break up. As luck would have it, though, this is when they finally start getting some attention. And based on the strength of Propeller, Scat Records calls Bob up and says, "Hey, we'd love to sign Guided by Voices." So Bob, who had always wanted a record deal, he says, "Sorry, the band broke up," but quickly changes that to, "Actually, you know what? I can get something together." I'll talk more about that next time when I talk about Vampire and Titus, but first, The Grand Hour. This is the first collection of tracks that Bob delivered to Scat Records. It's a really short EP, 6 tracks, 9.5 minutes, and to my ears it sounds like probably Propeller era outtakes. It's messy and weird and very often extremely lo-fi. It's probably the most essential Guided by Voices EP. First track, I'll Get Over It, an acoustic guitar with some boomy, messy drums. Those messy drums are sort of the defining sound of this EP for me. Most of the songs sound kind of semi-improvised or like they were still working on arrangements. Shocker in Gloomtown is a fan favorite, a classic that they played live a bunch. It's the one that everybody knows. It's one of the couple tracks on here that was recorded in the proper 8-track studio. Sounds like it could have been on Propeller. It has slightly better fidelity. Alien Lanes is the first of 2 tracks that would later lend their titles to full-length albums. The messy drums are back. Bob's yelling into a pretty muffled mic. It sounds like a loose basement jam of some kind of sleazy 70s rocker. Next up is Off the Floor. GBV love to stick song fragments around their tracks, and fans will note that the first 10 seconds of this is actually the instrumental from a later song, Hot Freaks. This is from before Bob wrote lyrics to it, and it was just a Tobin Sprout instrumental. The song proper is a pretty acoustic song from Tobin, with what seems to be a completely different song being played in the background, where Bob's yelling over some distorted guitars with a wah-wah pedal. Then we have Break Even, another pretty conventional song that would have fit in on Propeller. It's a catchy rocker. Sounds like it was recorded in the 8-track studio, slightly higher quality. And to wrap it up, we have B-1000. That's the second song on here that would later give its name to a full-length album. So it's kind of a silly song. I love it, though. This is the track that I always think of when I think of this EP, and it's the one that I send to people when they are questioning just how lo-fi Guided by Voices can get. The messy, boomy drums are back. They're shakily playing some tom-heavy pattern on a kit that sounds like it's kind of out of tune. And the song changes between this goofy sing-along of this like weird little wibble, wibble, wibble pattern, and then it cuts to Bob singing over really distorted guitars, but the whole thing is so muffled that it's borderline impossible to tell what he's singing. It's great. It's a great little EP, less than 10 minutes. It's definitely worth listening to if you haven't. But yeah, Guided by Voices, they're signed now. They're a band with a record label, and soon they will put out Vampire on Titus.